Welcome back to part 6 of RightData's video series, Getting Started with RightData. In the prior parts of the video series, we have learned to create queries, query chains, FDR, TDR, and validation scenarios. Let's now learn how to group the scenarios logically, define dependencies, if any, and configure the execution schedule. The three types of scheduling options are execute now, execute on, and repeat schedule. Execute now is used for ad hoc execute of the job. Execute on is used for one-time execution of the job on a defined schedule. Repeat schedule option is used to define a repeated scheduled execution of the job. For example, you can schedule a job to run every weekday at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Let's create a job to execute the query chain. Example, post-processing of CSV file. FDR, sample MS SQL versus PostgreSQL table compare. TDR, sample bulk data compare MS SQL versus PostgreSQL, and validation scenario, sample validate credit trans data as a dependency to the query chain, example, post-processing of CSV file. Go to Batch Console. From the toolbar, click on Create New Job to load Job Designer with design element Start. Double-click on Start to name the job name. Enter a long description and select the folder to be saved under. Job Design Palette's Schedule tab contains different types of schedule options. For this example, let's drag and drop Execute Now to the canvas. Switch to the Objects tab of the Job Design palette. First drag and drop the FDR design element. Double-click and select the FDR sample MS SQL versus PostgreSQL table compare. Drag and drop TDR design element. Connect the output port of schedule design element to the input port of TDR. Double-click on design element and select sample bulk data compare MS SQL versus PostgreSQL. Now drag and drop the query chain design element to canvas. Connect the output port of schedule design element to the input port of query chain. Double-click and select the query chain, example, post-processing of CSV file. Finally, drag and drop the validation scenario design element. Connect the output port of query chain with the input port of validation scenario. Double-click on validation scenario design element and choose sample validate credit trans data. Now, job configuration is complete and ready to execute. Click on Execute. This will submit a request to RightData's processing engine. Upon successful submission of the job, the design canvas will switch to monitor mode, where you can see the execution progress of each step of the job. You can click on progress counter for each step and see which of the objects are completed. You can click each object name to navigate to the respective scenario.